Hey, and welcome again to another show. You are now on another Tony Smith Rant. I'm your host, Tony Smith. And the title of today's rant is Physical Sovereignty, because remember we dealt with spiritual sovereignty yesterday on the Tony Smith Bible Rant. And we're going to deal with physical sovereignty today. So that's what we're going to do. Welcome everybody. Thank everybody for listening in. So what we're going to do first is go ahead and do the shout outs to all of the brothers and the sisters in the fight for freedom from the system, sovereignty, God. We live. Hey, we live. They fucking sleep. Fuck you. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brothers and sisters. Alright, so let's do our shout outs. We got Brother Heath Stoudemire in the house. What's going on, my brother Heath? Beast mode as always, brother Heath. We got Robin McAllister in the house, another beast. What's up, sis? Woo, 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 woo. In the house, Sister Robin McAllister. We got Sister Melissa Oso in the house. What's going on, Sister Melissa Oso? I'm getting tongue twisted because I want to shout out her live cast because she does a live cast. So please support her and at least share her stuff so that her voice can be heard. We got Sister Jill K. Johnston in the house. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? All love, Sister Jill K. Johnstone, former member of the board of directors of the Green News Network. So all love to the sister. Oh, we got Brother George Hayduke in the house. What's going on, Brother George Hayduke? Another member of the board of directors of the Green News Network. What's going on, brother? All love. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We got Sister Jennifer Carol Cowhill in the house. What's going on, sis? All love to you, my sister. We got Jacqueline Downey in the house. What's going on, Sister Jacqueline? All love. All love. Beast Mode. We got Sister Nick Stinson back from Facebook jail. Welcome back, Sister Nick Stinson. Beast Mode. Another one of her videos went viral. They trying to stop her. Don't let them stop her. Share her shit. Let these motherfuckers know where the sovereign gods are. All love. All love. Hell yeah. Beast Mode. We got Cindy Smith in the house. What's going on, Cindy Smith? All love. All love. Tammy Bowden is in the house. What's going on, Sister Tammy? And we got Mandy Wright in the house. What's going on, Sister Mandy Wright? Beast Mode. Oh, Gwendolyn Taylor is in the house. What's going on, Sister Gwendolyn? Beast Mode. Beast Mode. Ugh. I love when the beasts come out, because I know that I got a lot of people who have hella knowledge chilling with me. You know what I'm saying? Just like Sister Riley J is in the house. What's going on, Sister Riley J? Please support her live cast. She do a lot of live casts. Sister Riley J do a lot of nature live casts through her jogging through nature and shit. Man, that shit is dope to watch. You know what I'm saying? And she be bringing information as well in her live cast. So please support her live cast as well, Sister Riley J. We got Sister, already shouted y'all, sis. We got Sister Susan Jewell. You know I always call you Sister Susan Jewell. I know it's Jewel, but I like to call her Jewell. What's up? All right. Brother George Hayduke, I'm sure the GNN been rebranded and all of that. It's all love, my brother. Chris Sabitsky is in the house. What's going on, Brother Chris? I'll be seeing you on Facebook, killing the game out there, man. Let motherfuckers know what's up. All love to you, my brother. We got Sandy Johnson from Reynoldsburg, Ohio. What's up, Sandy Johnson? Welcome to the Tony Smith Rant. And welcome to our family, because we a family here. You know what I'm saying? We all got live casts. We just kick it together. We like-minded, and we love each other, and we help each other out. You know what I'm saying? So welcome. Also to Sam Triano, welcome to him, because he is new as well. So we want to welcome him to the Tony Smith Rant, as well as our family. Alexa Turner is in the house. What's going on, Alexa? All right. All right, brothers and sisters. Again, I want to thank all these guys for listening in. So what we're going to do now is we're going to deal with physical sovereignty. Because physical sovereignty can be achieved, but this corporation does not want this sovereignty to be achieved.
She said, my face, like,
why
face.
do you ask?
And
Hold on.
she said, then,
Hold on, Mark.
said, then after
Chill
that,
out for a second. I'm trying to talk to the
I only
family.
take a shower once every 6 days. She said,
So,
my hair, you know, all the
here's the situation. 1854, the Republican Party was created in the United States of America. Well, let's back it on up. 1776, the Freemasons set up the Constitutional Convention, which changed the original country from a confederation with a set of laws called the Articles of Confederation, which established a decentralized confederated country where the individual sovereignty made them a king over their lot. You know what I'm saying? And all these kings and queens came together and said, hey, we're going to make this law for the betterment of the entire land. So the Freemasons come in and say we need a constitutional convention and change the whole shit to a constitutional republic. Although it was still a country and it was still free. So then, 1854 rolls around, the Republican Party is created because of all of the banker influence in New York City and their dominance over political life in this country. So they used the triangle trade and the racist overtones that were created through the triangle trade in order to divide and conquer the nation. How they did that was to incite a civil war in which the Rothschilds as well as the Rockefellers financed both sides of this war. The Republican Party was the people of the country trying to push back Democrat, super majority over everything. You know what I'm saying? Because what happened is the people of the country allowed political parties to dictate political life or sovereignty. You know what I'm saying? And we slowly lost sovereignty because of that. Okay, so now the Civil War is coming around. It's incited. You know, you got Lincoln on the Union troops, the Republican, who everybody hate, and then you got the Democrats in the South who are actually for the globalists or what have you. You know what I'm saying? So then the Civil War ends. The Union wins. Lincoln is killed because they wanted the South to actually win, the Rothschilds. Lincoln is killed, and then through the confusion of Reconstruction, they set up the Act of 1871, which turned this country from a country to a corporation. Then, in 1913, the corporation ended the economic sovereignty of the country by employing a private bank called the Federal Reserve, to which these 13 bloodlines that we went over last Wednesday, these 13 bloodlines run this shit, right? So this bank is, so now you have a boom and bust economy through a fiat currency, which is printed out of thin air. You know what I'm saying? This is the beginning of the New World Order. So then after that, 1933 happens and this corporation is now bankrupt. And the people of the corporation or the country are now slaves of this bankruptcy, and we were put up as collateral for this bankruptcy to these 13 bloodlines of bankers. This is what happened. So in 1933, everyone became a slave. You now have a social security card as well as a birth certificate, which is traded on the stock market, which is why they want to further this so that every aspect of your life is worth some sort of profit on the stock market, which is why they want to introduce the Internet of Things, which is why this COVID shit, all of this is a leap of totalitarianism. The political aspect of it is Zionism, in confederacy with the Catholic Church. They all want a one world government, one world religion, one world currency, which is digital. They want the 5G, which runs the Internet of Things so that your consciousness can be uploaded to the cloud. This is where we are as far as our consent to this beast system, which is the world government. So in 1933, we are all now cattle. So then they started a war because everybody knew they had become cattle. So World War II was created, which was also in the plan. And now World War II happens, everybody's up in arms. The New World Order is now in place. Israel's country is now there, and now it's just been trying to maintain that order. But now, because of the information age, because now we are out of the industrial age. The Industrial Revolution age was to get everybody out of their sovereignty into these cities under these regulations and proclaiming them as laws over man. So this is the timeline as to what has happened to us in this country, not to mention other countries over this time period. So what we're going to do is we're going to deal with sovereignty and how it relates to today and what trends are moving and why most people are starting to move towards physical sovereignty. We have established spiritual sovereignty. We know we got it. We are masters of our own realities. What we have to do is pull away from these people who are claiming masters, I can't even say the word, over our sovereignty. We have allowed this through monarchies, through supposed democracies and republics. So let's deal with this video on sovereignty and becoming a sovereign individual. This is what a lot of people are doing today, brothers and sisters. So let's deal with it. Here we go.
Cool, and today I'm going to talk about something a little bit different, especially for those of you on my main email list who haven't seen me go on video before. I'm going to be doing more videos going forward, I guess. I'm going to talk about a book today. I'm going to talk about a book that you probably already know a lot of what it talks about. I'm going to talk about a book that you should read anyways, and I'm going to talk about a book which is on the subject of something that we've all been living in for the past, over a decade now, really. At least since 2008, if not longer. Probably longer.
And 2008 is when I began my journey in sovereignty.
I'll put a link to this in the description of this video. You should buy a copy. It was out of stock for quite a while. People were paying $70, $80+ for used copies. I decided not to sell this one because I'm going to read it again. But last I checked, it was back available on Amazon, so grab a copy of it. The basic idea of this book, I'm not going to spend too much time here summarizing the book. There's plenty of places you can find a summary, like the Amazon listing. But the basic premise of this book was written in the 1990s and talks about the subtitle of the book, Mastering the Transition to the Information Age, is what it's about, essentially. The age that, unless you're a lot younger than me, the age that all of us grew up in, at least towards the end of it, if you're around my age, was the industrial age. We know what that is: factories, good steady jobs, promotions, pension funds, 401k, a nice retirement, a house in the suburbs, doing what the boss says and working your way up the corporate ladder, that whole thing. We've all heard of that. Some of us are still living that, some of us more successfully than others. Others, myself included, maybe came along too late for that, maybe didn't have the interest in that, didn't get far enough along that ladder for it to be anything to speak of there. So, what's next? The information age. You're watching this on a phone, you're watching this on a computer, you're watching this on the internet. I'm sitting here at my kitchen table making this video for free, sending it out to hundreds, if not thousands of people. Hopefully a lot of people see this, I don't know. But I'm making this, I'm sending this out, it costs me nothing. You can do the same, anyone can do the same. You build an audience, you create a thing, you send it out, and you find ways to get paid. Yes, that's an affiliate link for the book. You buy the book, I get a couple of cents. If you don't like that, search for the title, Sovereign Individual, but that's not really the point in making this video. Point is, the world has changed. Some people are still living in relics of the past world. It doesn't all disappear immediately. It's a transitional phase. Transitional phase with things like the rise of nationalism and now socialism in this country. Check out any recent political debates if you want to hear about how young people are suddenly thinking socialism is a good idea. Spoiler alert, I don't think it's a good idea. But the book talks about all this. It predicts all this. It predicts Bitcoin, digital currencies. That's where it gets interesting. It talks about the transitions, many of which have already happened, some of which have not yet happened. Some of these transitions are going to be the transition away from what we now think of as the nation state, or at very least a vast reconfiguration of that. The point, like I said, this thing predicts, among other things, digital currencies, Bitcoin. What does that mean? It means that in the age of a sovereign individual, which is the age we're in and increasingly going to be in, that taxes cannot be or will not be able to be forcibly taken from you. Yes, they can threaten to put you in jail, but you can leave. That's the idea of the book anyways. I'm not going to go too much into it. Point being, governments and the services they provide are going to have to become more exactly that, services that people willingly pay for.
This is why I'm going to get back to this, dude, but I want y'all to know this is why I be like, stop voting. Because these governments they don't have really no power anymore because of the launch of this internet. We can connect and build our own economies within our own selves if we want to. Which is why I'm trying to get people to understand the sovereignty and how to move towards it. Because that is the age we're in, and we don't want to get left behind like our parents. Get fucked up in a system that is outdated. You know what I'm saying? That's why the programming don't work, because it's for the 60s. Motherfucker, this ain't the 60s. You know what I'm saying? I was born in 76. You know what I'm saying? So, that is the issue. We gotta withdraw from this shit-ass system. But a gradual withdrawal. You know what I'm saying? And then they will fall hard because they have invested highly in the system. This is why it's not cool to be a fucking billionaire. Because you can lose your wealth like that. You could be a billionaire today and tomorrow on the street. Because this shit is based on nothing. And sovereignty is a real thing, which is an asset. You are an asset, brothers and sisters. You are worth something. You, as an individual, a sovereign, you are a god of the earth. You help the earth grow. You help the earth move. So we have to negotiate with each other. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. And how do we negotiate? Through common law. And a lot of people like to get groups together and then they establish their state. You know what I'm saying? That's where the walls start getting built up. We don't want y'all in our state. You see? So, but let's get back to this. Here we go. Come on, motherfucker.
As the ability of governments to forcibly take your money disappears. People aren't working at conventional jobs, and they won't be going forward. And that means no paychecks that can easily just have a deduction put on them. And if people put their money into crypto assets or other things, that means no bank account that's the government official can click a button and take your money away. Now, I'm not necessarily just going to be one of the people saying this is wonderful, this is 100% a good thing. There are certainly good things about it. There can certainly be drawbacks of it as well. I mean, legitimate efforts to prevent crime could be hindered by this sort of thing. I'm not here to just blindly stand on one side or another, and neither is the book. I mean, just like myself, just like anyone, they have their biases that they lean towards that I may tend to agree with some of them, but it's more talking about what's going to happen, what's likely to happen, and, as the title suggests, mastering that transition to the digital age. So, it's not about making a judgment, is this a good thing, is this a bad thing? It's saying this is what's likely to happen, at least according to our thoughts here. They cite a lot of historical examples of previous eras coming to an end and the changes that have happened. Not all those changes have been good. Not all those changes will be good going forward. There's often in these transitional eras potential for violence and uprising. things. The book talks about that as well. The sovereign individual. What is that? Well, think about a sovereign as like in the olden days, like a king. The king was in charge of the country. The king went and met with another king, and they wanted to figure out an agreement about something. Those two kings talked about it, and they made a decision, and that was it. There was no boss above them. Oh, hold on, let me go ask my boss and see if I can do that. I'd like to go to Europe in a couple weeks. Can I have the days off, please? No. The king simply makes the decision. Point of this being is that each individual going forward into the information age is going to be more and more of the sovereign of their own life, of their own existence, of their own family unit, whatever you want to call it.
Listen, hold on, dude, chill out for a second. But listen, you see that? This is why I'm saying this is the beginning of it. So we need to start building our economy so that our black market economy will be well established and other economies will hook into us, and we as a collective family are not corrupt, nor will we become corrupt, because we respect the sovereignty of others, and we want to pull them out of this system that has enslaved them by a number. You understand? I hope y'all understanding this. Okay, let's go back to them.
Whether you like it or not, that's what's happening. You can try to stay at a job, you can try to just work at a job and hope that your boss will take care of you, and maybe he will, and maybe he won't, but you're not in charge of that. And at least according to the predictions here, these are the kind of people who are going to be left behind, and people don't like to be left behind. And that's where things like extreme nationalism, racism, socialism, other things like this come up, because it's people's reaction to the fact that they're not winning at this game anymore. And it's at least partially because they're playing the 20th century game, the industrial era game. This book's about changing that game, stepping into the information age, which that term even feels dated now. I don't know what this is going to end up being called, but definitely a 90s term. The sovereign individual age, stepping up, taking things under your own control, and securing the future you need. Now, what can that look like in the modern age? This guy didn't predict all that. Something like a smartphone never occurred to anyone, I don't think, before it was invented, which is an interesting thing about reading books from the past predicting the future. However, one missed that. But you have a cell phone, you have your laptop, you have the tools. If you can build a business, if you can build a service, if you can build a thing where you do things for people, whether that's creating a product or service.
And look, people like me bring people together. People like Sister Lori Root Riley bring people together. So, people like Gerard Kenyatte Hay bring people together. And then when we bring the people together, the people who have goods and services bring them to all of us because of our family connection. You see? We will not hurt each other. Why? Because we keep in natural law, which is the law of the sovereign. You see? And then we'll have other people connect. And it'll just connect. We can stop Revelations 13 from happening. Do you see the big picture? All right, let's go back to him.
Physical, but doing a task for someone, you can do that from your laptop anywhere in the world, to some degree or another. Now, obviously, certain things are time dependent with individuals working with each other in the same time zone. It's still very beneficial to sit down in a room with someone across a table and talk about it, even more so than a video or something like this, or a video chat service like Hangouts or something. There are still benefits to all of that. But, point is, the more you can free, this has been said by many people, the more you can free your income from any particular time or place, or more importantly, any particular control of any one boss or government, or fill in the blank with whatever restrictions you might be facing there, the better for you. The closer you get to becoming a sovereign individual. That's what I'm working towards. That's what a lot of people are working towards. Some guys on Twitter just announced a course they're putting out with this stuff that sounds really interesting. But I'm gonna wrap this video up here. My main point is these changes are happening whether you want them to or not.
And that's it. These changes are happening where we want them to or not. I have been charged by the people of watching it. So I'm telling you, these changes are happening. So I'm getting us ready through these rants for that change. And those of us who are still in the system, you have to help us finance that change with the Federal Reserve notes. I'm still going to try to get back into the system through my sponsor to help bring in Federal Reserve notes to help facilitate the change. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, it's going to be bartering for what you need. You know what I'm saying? This could be a beautiful time. We could change the world if we just don't be corrupt and be sovereign and be equal to one another and keep natural law. But these billionaires, you know they finna try to stop us. They gonna kill the fuck out of us, right? You know what's gonna happen. But we gotta get this information out here. You know what I mean? So now, let's deal with another video real quick. Let's deal with this one. And then we'll deal with like the steps you take. You know what I mean? We'll deal with it. And then I'll go to some of you guys' comments. So here we go.
Hi everyone, it's Aaron Day here from Sao Paulo, Brazil, with another episode of Offshore Maven. On the 5th of this month, just 5 days ago, I saw this video interview of Sasha Stone. And I had never heard of this man before, but I'm sure glad that I happened to see this interview. Because he and thousands of people together have created the New Earth Project. And I'm going to put a link down below, but it is definitely worth having a look at. And this is the way, you know, you hear people talk about get off the grid and opt out and all these sorts of things about not buying into the marching orders of big government. And New Earth Project has nailed it, and they've done it correctly, and they've done it large scale, as you'll see. They've already got properties inside their trust, and they're creating, and it's just a phenomenon. And you'll see, and it's very clear, they explain why people want to opt out of being involved in the world, in the paradigm, the way that it is. But a lot of people write to me, and this was the purpose of today's video, was to talk a little bit about investment citizenship, second citizenship, and I've heard a lot of Americans who have written to me asking what are my thoughts about renouncing a U.S. citizenship. Let me be clear. Do not do anything that will disadvantage you from moving around the world. And opting out is one thing, but renouncing and taking legal steps to renounce yourself is expensive. It takes years. Some say it takes 10 years. And also, it very likely could land you in a kettle of hot water because it's...
Look. He is exactly right, because you know what I did? My dumb ass followed the sovereign citizen. So I went to jail, not having a license plate, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Everything he talking about, I followed the dumb motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I'm bringing this Tony Smith rant, so you know not to follow these dumb motherfuckers. There are a lot. All you have to do is have the key words to look up, because you're a sovereign, nobody can tell you how to do this. I can tell you me. First, I dealt with the birth certificate, got rid of it. It is very tedious. What you have to do is find someone who is not a gatekeeper. And you have to learn not to answer questions when they ask you questions. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to get a form from them to renounce your birth certificate. Once you renounce your birth certificate, and then you have to quote a couple of scriptures or what have you. You know what I'm saying? For your sovereignty or what have you. Then go and get rid of the Social Security card. Now I'm going to play a video on an example of a brother who actually did this as well. But again, you have to find somebody who is sympathetic to your cause, because there are a bunch of gatekeepers. This shit does take up to 10 years, because you also have to renounce all of the signatures that you have ever fucking signed. And how you do that, there are businesses out there who you can give them your information, and then they can scan and find everything you ever signed and mail them to you for a retail price or whatever they charge. And they'll give you a fucking living room, stacks of shit over 20 or 30 or 40 fucking years or however long that you signed shit. And you gotta renounce them all and send them back to each place. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you renounce everything. And then, so you got your Social Security birth certificate gone. But there are forms that you have to fill out as well. So after you do all of that stuff, then you get the UCC forms, fill those out, and then that completely separates the federal government from you, and you are now completely sovereign. That process is a bitch, because there are super gatekeepers that they have given the knowledge to shut sovereigns down from going through. And then those people develop the sovereign citizen to throw people off this trail. You know what I'm saying? And then there are also terms like you have to say traveler. You can't say because of the corporate constitution. You know what I'm saying? They got your ass on every angle. But there is a loophole for us. And we do need brothers and sisters who are still in the system to help us, who are out of the system, or who are inspiring to put in this work to be out of the system. And we got to support each other. And there can't be any jealousy. It has to be equality. We sovereign gods. There has to be equality. You cannot look at me. I don't have the Federal Reserve, no job. And the brothers and sisters help me to be able to live. But you have the Federal Reserve, no job. You can't be jealous. When you fall off or something happens where you can't pay something, all of us are going to come together and help you. You know what I'm saying? So nobody will fall. We just cannot be jealous of each other. That is how sovereigns are going to live together. That's why the God of Israel put the nation of Israel into 12 tribes of equality. 12 is an equal number. 12 tribes. You understand? Man, I hope y'all understand. All right, let's go now back to this video. All right, here we go. Shit, hold up.
That's a red flag. It just puts you in the sort of categories with the government agencies of the world that you don't want to be in. It's like a dissenter category. It's much, much better to go along with the marching orders of the big governments, but do it for your own reasons and do it into your own direction. And also think about what you can do, what steps you can take, and what information you can share with the people around you that help to move us in this direction towards the New Earth project. Also, I wanted to talk just a little bit about New Zealand, as we have a couple of people in the process of application there for citizenship. And I had some feedback from one gentleman whom I begin to communicate with and appreciate. He's out of Christchurch, and it's been a real challenge due to all the earthquakes they've had. My hat goes off to the people of Christchurch. I had no idea until it was made really clear to me how daunting that's been. Because it wasn't just the two earthquakes that we read about. It's been a series. There's been lots of them, and it's been very, very disruptive.
And these earthquakes are from the Heart Project of the billionaires stopping the New Earth Project, which is trying to teach people how to become sovereign. They trying to kill this shit off, and they want to do the Great Reset so they can reset their fiat currency, because they bankrupted it to where people don't trust it anymore. And the trust is the power of the currency. You understand? So let's go back to this real quick.
There, but he talked about the northern part of New Zealand as being ideal for those that had accumulated wealth already, or anyone that's works online and doesn't need a local community to build a business. So that's just a couple of thoughts. But the New Zealand process, it does take several years, and it's not for the meek of wallet. It's expensive. But New Zealand is a beautiful country, and it might be one of the better places on earth to live.
All right, and that's what. And then the globalists are fighting the sovereigns over control of New Zealand. The Queen of England is claiming sovereignty over New Zealand. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little fight out there because that's the ideal place to jump sovereignty off or globalism. So that's the little fight. Now let's go to this video. All right, check this out. This dude's gonna withdraw his Social Security.
Also, my dedicated troll.
He's gonna withdraw his Social Security.
Today I committed to making my way down here to the Social Security Administration, as you guys see right here, to put in my request for withdrawal of application. And I'm pretty much solid on paperwork as far as filing and stuff like that, and I haven't been using my Social Security number for a lot of different things. I'm not gonna get too deep into that, but basically I know when, where, and how to use the Social Security number that's been provided to me. And I say that specifically because most of us believe that the Social Security number and Social Security card that we hold belongs to us because we're the holders of the card and the users of the number. But that fact would be proven not to be factual if we just open up our purses or our wallets, grab Social Security card, and look on the back of the card, and it'll tell you at the top of the contract. It's a contract because we had to sign on the front. It says on the back of the contract that this card belongs to the Social Security Administration, and you must return it if we ask for it. So that's why I came back to give them back their shit. Now, of course, you can't just go up in there and say, "Here, I don't want it anymore," and walk out. That's not going to be effective. It's everything takes proper procedure and proper filing. Now, I do have my dialogue and one of the workers here at the Social Security Administration.
You see what I'm saying? He said he got his dialogue with a person. That means that he has someone that he has gotten past the gatekeepers. Don't think you're going to go here and get rid of your social security number. You ain't going to have no pushback. They just going to do it for you. They know what you're doing. It's like crabs in a bucket. When they see somebody trying to get out the bucket, the crabs pull them back down in the bucket. You understand? So don't think these people just gonna be happy you figured this shit out. You understand? So let's listen.
Administration, so you guys can check out, exactly what was said throughout the process. I'm gonna keep a link in the description. You might want to start the audio off at about 2 minutes, because that's when I actually sat down at the station to talk about the request for withdrawal of the application. And the whole point, the reason why I wanted to do the whole withdrawal application, because ultimately once a social security number is applied to you, an individual, it's always going to be recorded in their system to that. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's going to change about that. But I wanted to do this for extra security and extra acknowledgement from them. From me to them. To the Fed, to the government, that hey, I don't want nothing to do with you guys. As far as I don't wish to utilize this particular number for your particular benefits. I'll delegate and I'll manage my own affairs, basically. And this first round wasn't a complete success.
And what you do from that point is you build a trust. And then if you want the trust to be bigger, to include others, their own trust to connect with your trust. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's supposed to work. But you see how they done just, you see that? It was very cunning what they did to us, isn't it? So let's keep going.
But it wasn't a failure either. It's more so like a draw. I say that because you guys see within the dialogue of the conversation exactly what happened and what went down. Ultimately, she did give me some information, more clarification of what I've already known, but more of an understanding as far as accepting it. Because at this point, if they don't process my request for withdrawal of application. After this second or third round, I'm gonna go back to the drawing board and dig up some legalities as far as my right to withdraw from the application.
What he has to do is dig up common law, and he has to find some precedent within common law that either a judge or a legislature made precedent on this issue. That's where he has to do if they reject his request. Let's keep going.
Because I personally know and believe that we have the right to withdraw from anything that we involuntarily was placed, any circumstance that we involuntarily was placed under. These social security numbers were given to us and applied to our personal names, without our personal consent. And this particular process was done, of course, by our mothers and fathers and stuff like that. When we first originally got our first card, so that still doesn't count, So we have the right to withdraw from something that we didn't personally or consciously consent to. But even if this, I'm not gonna put a lot of energy into this, because at the end of the day, all of my business is being conducted via EIN.
Exactly. That's what a lot of sovereigns do, choose the EIN, because the EIN is separate. It makes you a contractor to the corporation, a contractor to the federal, a contractor to the state, a contractor to the local governments, a EIN. So you can go that route, or you can get a sponsor. There are many little routes you can take with the loopholes in the system. Ultimately, decentralized sovereignty is the goal, and building a trust among a group of like-minded individuals to build, what's right and what's good. Natural law is good. You understand? And this is what the New World Order has been trying to hide for centuries. Through monarchies, through war, through poverty. You understand? So let's keep going.
True, she spoke truth when she said, well, if you don't want to reap the benefits, don't use the number, don't use the card. Even though they purposely applied the number, a 9-digit number to me and to my so-called name, I still have a choice as an individual person, a private person, or a private citizen, whatever you want to call me, or whatever I want to call myself. I still have the option and choice to use or not to use the number for any type of Social Security benefits. And just like I explained to the lady, my understanding of Social Security benefits. Social Security benefits as a secure party contradicts you being a secure party and a creditor. So you're still using the number to reap and gain benefits from the administration, from the government. It has nothing to do with getting old and sick and getting checks in the mail every month. Anytime you use that number to put on an application for employment, for opening up bank accounts, that's why they know when you open up new accounts. That's how they can go reach in your bank accounts and take shit out your bank account, because you gave them permission based on their ownership over that particular number that we use to open up the damn account.
So in other words, you federally fucked 2 ways from Sunday. You know what I'm saying? And we got to get out of it. And like I said, you as a sovereign, you got to look this shit up. I'm giving you the avenue to do it. You know what I'm saying? I'll put all this information in the comments, and you have to do it for yourself and figure out your own way. You know what I'm saying? That is what sovereigns do. You don't provide the way for the people. You give them what you know and what others have taught, and show them how to get there. And they have to figure it out from there. You know what I'm saying? So now, let's go to another video real quick.
Hello, my name is Bob, and welcome to LegalUCC.com. In this video, I'm going to explain our Uniform Commercial Code, or UCC-1 document preparation course. Gaining control and ownership of your straw man by filing a UCC-1 financing statement does 2 things. First, you gain limited control over the funds in the account. Secondly, by properly filing a UCC-1 financing statement, you become the holder in due course of your straw man. A filed UCC-1 is public notice of a registered lien by a real human being who is the secured party over the straw man, which is the government-created foreign non-registered corporation. With the straw man under your control, government has no access to your straw man, and they also lose their connection to the real living man or women in connection. Once you take possession of your straw man, you are no longer a subject. You become a free and sovereign, and once again, you declare your independence. To perfect a lien against personal property, such as one used in a business, a Uniform Commercial Code Form 1, also known as a UCC-1, must be executed and filed either in the Secretary of State's office or the county courthouse, depending on the state. Once recorded, the UCC-1 makes the lien valid and serves as a notice that the lien exists. In most situations, the first to record a lien takes priority. The Uniform Commercial Code, or UCC-1 package, covers the basic requirements for filing Uniform Commercial Code documents with the Secretary of State's office or the county courthouse, depending on the state.
The Uniform Commercial Code, or UCC-1 package, includes information on the online fee, payment options, and instructions for each type of UCC filing. The instructions describe the data fields and informational requirements for each filing. A UCC-1 records and protects a secured party's interest in the collateral offered by a debtor for a loan. In essence, the UCC-1 gives public notice relative to the debtor, also known as the secured party relationship, and the collateral involved in the transaction. A UCC-1 filing is effective for 5 years, and it can be renewed through a filing of a continuation statement, provided this is done at least 6 months before the 5-year period expires. It is important that the owner have the filing officer record the file number, date, and hour of the filing on his copy of the document. Each state uses its own version of this form. Although states usually accept a generic version, they will likely charge an additional processing fee if their form is not used. Important points to understanding your straw man. The birth certificate represents the body. The SSN represents the commercial account. Behind every birth certificate is a $1 million bond, which is prepaid financing.
See, I told you.
Any activity of the straw man. Some people have used their TDA to pay off their home or commercial mortgage, student loans, tax liens, or even credit card debt. Very important to understand. When you own your straw man and someone or some corporation charges against it, this is called commercial trespassing.
Yeah.
If anyone goes after your straw man and wins any monetary award against the fiction of your straw man, then you, the real person, secured party, get the first $1 million of that because you have the first lien.
Right.
In addition to your own reclaim,
Hold on.
remove your collateral and participation from the fraud.
This is why you become a sovereign first before the UCC-1 form. You get your individual sovereign house in order, and then this is the last step. And that pushes you completely separate from the government. You become like the Queen of England or like the Pope. You understand? So let's keep going.
Frauds, manipulations, and extortion that have been perpetrated in your name. Even when enough people have reclaimed their birthright, we can also reclaim our constitutional republic that was intended to serve us in protecting our life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Welcome to Legal UCC-1 Training Program.
Okay, so that's what, and then I'm going to put that in there, and then you can just go through it, and then you just have to dig in it for yourself, brothers and sisters. This has to be a self-walk. The government has been putting pampers on you your whole life. It's time to walk on your own. This is what sovereignty is all about. So now, bear with me a couple moments here.
Upon request for a total of $8.99.
Bear with me a couple moments, and I will get back to y'all. Don't leave. I'm going to put y'all in the black for a second, but don't leave. And I'm going to be right back, and then we're going to do another video, and then we're going to deal with the comments after that. So don't leave. Hold up.
One of the safest
I'll be right back.
in the
Hold on.
entire country.
Just steps from the front
And
door,
someone
you shot
took a semi-automatic weapon.